Anne, what did you put on my face? My skin is on fire. I look like I've been boiled. The doctor said chemical irritation. What is going on in your shop?
Adeze, I am so sorry. Please go back to the doctor. I will pay all bills. I don't understand. These are the same products I've always used. I am so sorry.
Madam, you have the right to remain silent, but I strongly advise you to start talking. 3 clients, 3 hospital admissions, chemical burns, rashes, 1 nearly lost her left eye. Your products.
Officer, please. I beg you, I am telling you the truth. I don't know what happened. These are my products. I mixed them myself. Nothing like this has ever...
The lab results say otherwise, madam. Hydroquinone, mercury compound, both are above the toxic threshold found in your foundation base. So I'll ask again, who mixed these? Anne, explain this.
I don't know. Officer, I swear before God, I don't know how it got there.
Anne's hands were trembling as the officer snapped the cuffs. The shop, her shop, had gone quiet. The hum of traffic from Osato Street seeped under the door like it always did, indifferent, relentless. The glass cabinet full of palettes and brushes blurred before her eyes. Outside, Lagos was still moving. Lagos never stopped for anyone's pain. But hold on, how did we get here? Before I take you back to where it all started, ensure to hit the subscribe button, make sure to watch to the end, like, share, and tell us what you think. We are here because of you, and we always strive to bring you the best of African stories with great morals. Now let's get back to the story. 3 years before that morning, An Agu had arrived in Lagos with a backpack, 40,000 naira folded into her bra, and a dream that felt embarrassingly fragile in the noise of that city. She had come from Asaba, not running from anything, just running towards something she couldn't quite name. She was 22, sharp-eyed and restless in the way of young women who know they are made for more. Lagos received her the way Lagos received everyone. Roughly, loudly, without apology. She stayed with a distant auntie in Surulere, sleeping on a thin mattress in a parlor that smelled of onions and prayer. Every morning she woke to the sound of the generator coughing to life, to the tightness of 4 people sharing one bathroom, to the quiet knowledge that no one here owed her anything. She found her calling by accident. A neighbor, Blessing, a vivacious woman who sold fabrics on Adeniran Ogunsayan Street, invited her along to a makeup class. It was supposed to fill an afternoon. It filled her entire life instead. Anne discovered she had hands built for it. Precise, patient, intuitive. She understood bone structure the way a sculptor understands clay. Within 6 months, she had taken every class she could afford, watched 10,000 tutorials on a cracked phone screen, and practiced on every willing face in the building. She invested every kobo she had into good products, no counterfeits, no shortcuts. That was her rule from day one. She opened her first studio, 1 room on Osato Street, Surulere, with a second-hand vanity mirror, ring lights she assembled herself, and a hand-painted sign that read Glam by Anne, and the clients came slowly at first, then all at once. The Lagos women who found her were the kind who knew what they wanted, the corporate woman who needed to look runway ready for a board meeting at Echo Hotel, the bride who had dreamed of a specific look since she was 12, the Instagram influencer who needed every angle to be immaculate, and delivered every time without fail. Word spread the way it only spreads in Lagos, fast, loud, and personal. 1 client becomes 10, 10 become 50. Someone posted before and after on Instagram with the caption, "She is the one," and suddenly Anne's DMs are a flood she swims through every evening. She hired a small space in Victoria Island, she stocked imported brands, she raised her prices and still stayed booked 3 weeks in advance. She was 24 years old and she was somebody. Her mother called on a Thursday evening while Anne was packing up for a bridal session that had run 4 hours.
Anne, my daughter, My precious child, how are you? How is everything?
Mama, I am fine. I just finished work. How is everyone?
We are managing, we thank God. Anne, I want to speak to you about Osato. You know your father's sister's daughter. She is a clever girl, very hardworking, but there is nothing for her here. Her mother is suffering. I was thinking you are doing so well now with your makeup work in Lagos. Is it possible, can she come and learn from you? Just to have something. Just so the family can breathe.
Anne closed her eyes. She knew this call. She had been half expecting it. In her family, success was communal property. You shared it or you explained why you hadn't. And she could never explain herself to her mother.
Mama, send her. I'll take care of her.
God will bless you, my daughter. God will bless you abundantly.
Nobody said no to a mother. That was the first and oldest rule. Osato arrived on a Saturday with 2 enormous bags, a phone that never left her hand, and eyes that took in everything. She was 20 years old, pretty in a watchful sort of way, and quieter than Anne had expected. Anne set her up in her spare room, showed her the studio, explained the products, the techniques, the rules. At first, Osato was a good student. She was quick to learn and physically skilled. Her brush knock was clean, her blending passable within weeks. Anne was proud, in the way you are proud when someone you have invested in begins to bloom. But then, the clients continued noticing Anne, not Osato. They praised Anne in front of Osato. They requested Anne specifically. They spoke about Anne while Osato stood in the corner cleaning brushes. And something in those moments shifted behind Osato's quiet eyes. A tightening, a clenching, something that Anne, who was busy and booked and tired and full of goodwill, did not think to look for. Jealousy in a household is like mold behind a wall. You cannot see it, but it is working. The first complaint came on a Tuesday. A client, Adeaye, a banker, one of Anne's most loyal, called in a panic. Her face had erupted in a burning rash the morning after her makeover. She had been up all night. She had gone to a clinic. She was furious.
Anne, what did you put on my face? My skin is on fire. I look like I've been boiled. The doctor said chemical irritation. What is going on in your shop?
Adeze, I am so sorry. Please go back to the doctor. I will pay all bills. I don't understand. These are the same products I've always used. I am so sorry.
Anne replaced the products. She apologized. She paid the medical bills. She assumed contamination, maybe a bad batch from the supplier. But then the second client called. Then the third. Different products, different sessions. One had a burn around her jawbone. Another had swelling along her brow bone. The last had reacted so badly she had been hospitalized overnight. That one's family threatened legal action. That one's family was the kind of family in Lagos whose threats were not empty. Within 2 weeks, Anne's bookings dried up. The DMs turned from requests to warnings. Someone posted about it on Twitter. Avoid Glam by Anne. Her products are dangerous. The post gathered 1,000 retweets before Anne saw it. By then, the task force had received a formal complaint. By then, Officer Tunde was already on his way. Anne was released on bail pending investigation. She went home and sat in the silence of her studio for a long time, staring at the shelves of products, at the certificates framed on the wall, at the small framed photograph of the day she opened the shop, herself grinning in a yellow dress, holding scissors above the ribbon. She had installed a CCTV camera 6 months earlier, not because she feared theft, but because a client had once accused her of misplacing a designer bag. 2 small cameras, one facing the product shelf, one at the entrance. She had almost forgotten they existed. She sat down at her laptop. She opened the footage from the past 4 weeks and she began to watch. The first hour of footage was ordinary. Clients coming and going, herself at work, Osato sweeping, watching, handing brushes. Then, on the third night of watching, at 11:47 p.m. on a Wednesday 2 weeks prior, the studio dark and asleep upstairs, a figure entered the frame. Osato, in her sleeping clothes, moving without hurry to the product shelf, pulling something from the deep pocket of her wrapper, a small bottle, clear liquid. She opened Anne's foundation base, the one used on Adeaye, on 2 other clients, and she poured. She put everything back. She turned off the light. She went back upstairs to bed. Anne watched the footage 3 times. Her face did not change. Her hands did not shake. She felt a cold, clear, terrible calm, the kind that comes when the world finally makes sense in the worst way possible. She called Osato downstairs the next morning. Osato came into the kitchen with the same quiet face, the same unhurried manner, the same eyes that had watched Anne's clients praise her work and had held something tightly behind them.
Sit down, Osato. Is everything okay? You look... I said sit down.
I have a CCTV in the studio. I watched the footage last night. I watched it 3 times. I needed to be sure. My clients are in the hospital. My business is in ruins. I was arrested, Osato. Arrested. I was handcuffed in my own shop because of what you did. Osato, I housed you. I fed you. I was teaching you everything I know. Everything. And you did this? Do not speak. There is nothing you can say to me. I am taking this footage to Officer Tunde today. After that, you are no longer my concern. I don't want to hear your name. I don't want you to contact me. Tell my mother whatever you need to tell her. That is your problem, not mine. We are done.
She was as good as her word. She submitted the footage, the charges were redirected, Osato was arrested that afternoon. Anne called her mother that evening, one of the hardest conversations of her life, and told her everything, calmly and completely, because the truth did not need decoration. Her mother wept. Anne let her weep. She did not fill the silence with comfort she did not have. She rebuilt slowly, not with bitterness. Bitterness was expensive, and Anne had already paid enough, but with her eyes open in a way they had not been before. She restocked, she retested every product, she sent formal apologies, and covered every medical bill, even the ones no judge had required. One client, Adiaze, the banker, came back. She was the first.
I saw the news. I read what happened. I just want you to know I never really believed it was you. Thank you, Ades. Truly.
Adiaze's return brought others. The Instagram post that had once destroyed her was replaced slowly by new ones, different ones, ones that said she fought for her clients even when it cost her everything, and Glam by Anne is back and she is untouchable. Anne did not take on another apprentice. She worked alone, with intention, with the knowledge that some lessons do not teach themselves softly. She did not hate Osato. Hate was another thing she could not afford. But she understood now that love without discernment was not generosity. It was carelessness. And carelessness in this city, in this life, cost you everything. Lagos did not change. It was still loud, still beautiful, still merciless, still full of women in heels navigating the third mainland bridge at 7 in the morning, still thick with ambition and dust and jollof smoke and the smell of possibility. Anne moved through it differently now. Not harder exactly, but wiser, cleaner, more herself. She kept the CCTV on, she kept her products locked, she kept her circle tight and her craft immaculate. And every morning before the first client arrived, she stood at her mirror, looked at her own face, the face she had built a career learning to illuminate, and reminded herself of the only truth Lagos had confirmed. Your gift is yours. Guard it.